What's up, everyone? Hope you're doing good because Dead by Daylight just dropped a frosty little present on us with the December 9th update, version 3.61/93.200. And there's a lot going on under the hood that you're going to feel the second you load into a match. First off, the big seasonal headline, Bone Chill is back. The event kicks off on December 9th at 11 a.m. Eastern and loads the fog with that familiar winter vibe. If you've been around for earlier winter events, you already know this usually means snowy visuals, special event tomes, login rewards, and that cozy I'm about to get tunneled but at least everything looks festive type of atmosphere. The patch confirms the event's return, so your holiday matches are going to have that extra layer of snowy chaos. In past years, we've had snowmen you can hide in, throwable snow-themed items, and unique holiday cosmetics, so even though this update mostly focuses on gameplay tweaks, you can expect the seasonal mischief to be alive and well. Now, besides all the holiday shine, this update brings some genuinely meaningful gameplay tuning. One of the biggest changes is centered on the Skull Merchant. Behavior adjusted her undetectable mechanic again, and this tweak goes straight into how she pressures loops. Her undetectable duration has been boosted to 8 seconds, and instead of gaining it when deploying a drone, she now gains undetectable when recalling one. That tiny switch actually reshapes her rhythm in chase. Before, you'd just plop a drone and insta-get stealth. Now you need to think about recalling at the right moment, maybe during a rotation around a loop or when shifting focus between gens. The ability to vanish mid-path and quietly reposition for a surprise hit gives her way more presence against survivors who rely heavily on sound and aura tracking. If you're on the survivor side, this means those little drone recalls are no longer something you can ignore. If you see one of her drones blink out, assume she's setting up a stealth approach. 8 seconds is long when you're judging whether to greet a gen, take a risky unhook, or hold a pallet. A smart merchant can use that window to swing momentum in her favor, especially around multi-tile sections or high-value generators. Speaking of survivors, 2 perks have officially been restored, Breakdown and Wicket. These perks were previously disabled, but they're back with their classic effects. Breakdown once again breaks the hook you're pulled from and reveals the killer's aura briefly, and that hook takes a full 180 seconds to respawn. This can seriously disrupt a killer's carry routes. If you're the one being tunneled, every unhook becomes a way to deny them their favorite hooks for long stretches of the match. Over time, this can push killers into awkward paths or outright force mistakes. Wicked is another standout. It restores that guaranteed self-unhook in the basement, and, on top of that, grants a lengthy aura read on the killer after either being unhooked or freeing yourself. Basement has always been the threat zone of Dead by Daylight, but Wicked changes the psychology around it. If you're down there with this perk, you're not just doomed. You become unpredictable. You can pop off the hook, instantly see where the killer is, and make a smooth getaway before they realize their plan has fallen apart. It forces killers to rethink basement plays entirely. There's also a really important update to pallet density and tile behavior across several major realms. Autohaven, Backwater, Crotus Pren, Macmillan, Ormond, Red Forest, and Yamaoka. Loops that were too short and essentially unsafe have been lengthened or adjusted, and pallets that were spawning next to tiny objects and creating awkward, useless tiles have been addressed. Randomization has been tuned so the spawn patterns feel less predictable. When you jump into a match after this update, you'll notice that some tiles you used to rely on might feel different, and areas you thought were hopeless might now have safer resources. Both sides need a bit of relearning time because these small tile changes subtly shift the flow of chases. Now, the quieter but equally important part of this patch is the huge collection of bug fixes. There were audio issues where power sounds weren't playing correctly or certain effects carried too far across the map. Those fixes matter because audio cues inform almost every decision you make. Character bugs, interaction issues, animation glitches, visual clipping, killers getting stuck on geometry, survivors snagging on odd corners, generators not being accessible from certain angles. All of that has been polished out across multiple maps and killers. Stability improvements and platform-specific fixes also landed, especially for things like UI responsiveness and controller behavior. These aren't flashy changes, but they make everything feel smoother and more consistent. Put all of that together, and this update may not flip the meta on its head, but it definitely shifts how matches play out. Skull Merchant gets a cleaner, more tactical stealth game. Survivors get back 2 perks that can heavily influence hook pressure and basement outcomes. Maps feel a little more fair and a little less random, and all of it arrives wrapped in the winter aesthetic of Bone Chill, giving players a reason to queue match after match through the season.